Congressman Chip Roy right now, the House Freedom Caucus Policy Chair, House Judiciary Committee, House Budget Committee. He's on a lot of important committees. So, Congressman, what do you make of this? The governors who are now pitching in to help Governor Abbott in Texas any way they can.
Neil, great to be on. And yeah, it's super to have the support from these governors across the country, at least 25, right, that have offered their at least verbal support to Governor Abbott, who is doing a great job trying to stand in the breach when the federal government is refusing to do its job. Governor DeSantis, obviously, a friend of mine, as we've talked about before. Great that he is sending almost 1,000. I think it's about maybe 800 or 900 of the National Guard and then 100 of their own state guard. That's actually a change. That's a big difference. These are not your traditional National Guard guys. This is your local state guard in Florida. So he's trying to send resources to help. We need that in Texas. But it's great to see the result where we're seeing the numbers that have now plummeted. I think we're now down to like 200 a day rather than the thousands that we've seen sitting there in Eagle Pass. But there's another factor in all of this, not just the great efforts of the governor, the legislature to pass laws, allowing us to be able to arrest people, but also I think what's going on is a political play. We know that there's been reporting that Obrador has met with the Biden administration with some amount of an agreement that is not fully clear to lower the numbers. They're now trying to pull people off trains. They're making changes down in Mexico. They know they need to decrease those numbers electorally this year for election purposes. So that's another factor. And now you're seeing, because of Texas enforcement and because Mexico concentrated on Coahuila right across the border, now you're seeing the numbers move to California. So I think that's part of all of this puzzle.
You know, Congressman, we're told Senator Lankford of Oklahoma says that border deal measure should be released sometime tomorrow. I think you guys will have 72 hours to read it. He says it's about 200 pages. So you'll finally get a chance to find out what's in it. What you've heard about it, what do you think about it?
Well, first of all, I mean, look, I don't want to disparage anybody. I mean, Senator Lankford has tried to work to do something here. But look, bottom line is this is a bill that we know is dead when it comes to the House in terms of any of the provisions that we believe are in it. We've not seen the text. We'll see the text hopefully tomorrow or Saturday. The Senate's going to move to it next week. I mean, Mike Lee, as a senator, has been going around saying, guys, I don't even know what's in the bill yet. And they're talking about filing cloture next week. That is the tool in the Senate to move to the bill, as you know. So that's a problem. We know that it's setting sort of a floor instead of a ceiling of like $5,000 a month. We're not going to do that. Okay, we're not going to do that in the House. Speaker Johnson's been very clear about that. So we're going to need to do our part to make sure we push to get actual border security, not this effort by the Senate to do another deal. Whenever the Senate starts coming together to do a deal, man, run away from it, because it's never going to work out well for the hardworking people out there. I'm happy to go sit down and have a conversation, but we passed a bill last year that would actually do the job. We know what we need to do, and it's enforce the law. And that's what we got to do, is hold the administration accountable. And I hope we actually impeach Mayorkas on the floor of the House next week as well.
We don't know all the details. Some of them that have leaked out say that President Biden likes what's being worked on. He said that he would shut down the border as soon as he gets something like this. But there is a caveat on it there, and we don't know for sure if it's true, Congressman, that up to 5,000, is the ceiling that could be allowed staying in here every day. Jay Johnson, the Homeland Security Secretary under Barack Obama, had said anything over 1,000 was crazy. Right. So if that's true, is that a definite no vote from you?
Oh, I mean, it's not just a no vote. I mean, it's a, as they say, like fix bayonets and take the magazine out and throw it at them, whatever it takes, right? It is an absolute throw everything I can to stop it, because this is what happens. Republicans try to take the goalpost, they move, they open up the floodgates to, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is a day. We've been running at 10,000 a day. They then want to come back and say, we'll agree with you. We'll cut a great deal for the American people. We'll set the new standard at 5,000 a day. As you just noted, 5 times worse than what Obama's Secretary Jay Johnson said was an actual problem. Why would we do that? Now they'll push back and say, oh, no, that's not actually the standard. It'll be lower than that at times. But that's crazy. The fact that they're setting it 5,000, the reforms they're putting in place on asylum and parole, they won't do the job. By the way, those numbers, they don't deal with the family units, right? They're trying to say, oh, you'll detain the single adult males and single adult people, but we won't actually touch the family units. Well, guess what? You'll just encourage more family units, which encourages more sex trafficking of kids, abuse of kids, empowers cartels further. We cannot do that. We need to go back to what our current law states, which is secure the border, detain, do our job. Yes, you can have asylum claims, but only if you detain. That should be the rule. 0 people should be released into the United States. That's our position. The Senate has a weaker position. We're going to fight it.
Well, that's the one area where you and Donald Trump agree. He's not a fan of this, what's been out there. I am curious, if you don't mind my asking, sir, how you and the former president are getting along, whether you talk with each other, your support for Ron DeSantis sort of chafed at him, but maybe bygones are bygones. What can you tell us?
Well, first of all, let me say it's not the one area I agree with former President Trump on. I agree with hundreds of areas with former President Trump. I mean, a lot of different policies. I mean, some tax policies, his positions, moving the embassy to Jerusalem. I could go down a laundry list. I mean, you know, appointing justices
well, that really didn't
were at
matter
least
to
in the
him
ballpark.
as soon as you supported Ron DeSantis.
But that's because
that's politics. I understand.
But that's the sort of, you know, kiss the ring mode. And like,
right.
I don't do that. He knows that. He respects that. And by the way, Rick Perry called him a cancer, and like, you know, the next year he was his Secretary of Energy. I think we'll be just fine.
So you haven't talked to him since all of this, Congressman. I just wanted to be clear.
No, he's got things he's got to do. He's got to go get elected. He's got to go get his delegates, and we'll proceed. I'm doing my job here. He knows where I am, and like, we're going to keep advancing conservative policies.
All right. Well, you do speak your mind. Chip Roy, always good seeing you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.